Sue, tell me the progress on the petition to help young people save a substantial housing deposit.
I took it to the MP this week on Monday and left it with him. He was quite pleased to present it for me.
Which MP was that, Sue?
Andrew Giles.
Okay.
He's a Labor MP.
Right.
And yeah, he was quite pleased to present it for me in Parliament. He thought it would happen at the end of November because there's 2 more sessions.
What's the progress on that? Is it end of November? Is there any preparation that he needs to do?
No, it just needs to be read in Parliament and he can say a few words to explain it more so that people understand how it will really work. Because you're limited in Parliament to have a petition that only has 200 words. So
Right.
you can't fully explain things, so you need someone to support it. And I had left it with him, but then I ended up on Wednesday this week reading the Labor Party's all that they're going to do in the way of tax changes if they get in. And all these by-elections that are happening have made me really...
So tell me, Sue, cut to the chase. What are you going to do? Is he going to present it, or what's happening?
No, I can't. I took it back from him because I figured it would look really, really odd to have a Labor MP present it for me when I know now that I've got to do everything I can in my power to stop Labor getting in any of these by-elections. I've got to support anyone and everyone who is not Labor because
Why not Labor?
they want to make 2 tax changes, and you can see it on their website. One, they want to introduce a 30% tax on distributions to trusts, and I see that as likely to cripple small business in Australia.
What's the current tax rate for trusts?
There is no tax on trusts.
Okay.
Money is normally paid to, all the profits have to be distributed every year to the family members who are part of that business.
Okay.
Okay? And normally just goes to the husband and wife and a tiny, tiny bit to the kids.
So are Labor saying they're going to charge 30% tax on the recipients of the distribution?
Just said that distributions are going to be taxed at 30%. Okay? And it's not going to, and it can't be like the tax on company money because that you can recover if you've overpaid. They just want to cripple the ability to distribute to university students who are your children. So for that 3-year period when your children are in university and they don't earn any income and they're over 18, they think that too many family businesses give money to their kids and avoid paying tax in that period. And they therefore want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So they're just going to straight out tax everything that goes to the family members at 30%. But the problem with it is, Phil, that the average person, I had a client in my office the other day and he said to me, "What's my average tax rate, Sue? I just don't understand. I've been setting aside 20%. Is that right?" And I calculated it was 19.5%.
What's the other tax issue that Labor have that's affecting? The reason why you want to present directly?
They want to stop negative gearing applying to the new investors in the rental property market unless that new investor has bought a brand new home.
So what's the current policy on negative gearing?
It's a
How
case
is it?
of, like, I'll give you an example. I have clients who, I was looking at it this morning, who are losing 24,000 a year, even now with the interest rates where it is, on their rental properties. And 16,000 of that is actual cash loss that they're incurring each year. And they're allowed to claim that 21,000 back on their tax return against their income as an ambulance officer or a nurse. That's what most of my clients who
Or
invest in
professional
property
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And so they don't lose quite as much as they're losing now. And can you imagine that what they're trying to do, Labor is trying to do, is stop any new investors in the investment property market. So they don't want a new investor to come in and buy a house that's been in existence prior to now.
Right.
So they only want them to buy a brand new home. Okay? And that's the only time they can have negative gearing still apply. Now, if they come in, they introduce their policy, what will happen is that people who've already got investment properties can still use the negative gearing. All right? So it's not going to cost them anything, but they have leases with their tenants. Okay? Now, I'm thinking about the clients who I've got, and most of their properties cost them over $500,000 when they bought it, or around the $500,000 mark.
Yeah.
So they're losing $24,000 a year on paper,
Right.
$16,000 out of their pocket, literally,
Yeah.
and they're hoping that the capital gain offsets all that.
Right.
Okay, in the long term. The clients I'm thinking of would actually love to sell their property because they haven't had that capital gain to offset that. They just love to get out. Now, who can they sell to? Think about it. If they are trying to sell this property and it's gone up to say $600,000, is that a first home buyer's property?
No.
No, I don't think so. So that means it's a second home buyer. So the second home buyer, when they sell their property, they've got to sell it and they've got to shift into that property.
So,
They've got to
in effect,
move.
what you're saying, Sue, is that tax change proposed is going to have a deflationary effect on the amount of property available for people to buy.
No,
Because
I don't
if
think so.
the negative gearing is not worth them selling,
No, I don't think so. I've been telling my clients to get out of those properties, to cut their losses and get out. And they just, I don't know, I think they keep hoping it's going to change. But they're going to reach the point where they're just going to say, the capital growth in property is not enough. We have to get out of this, all right? Now, if they decide that and there's a 6-month lease on that property still to go, how can they sell to a second home buyer? That second home buyer can't settle on the right date as the lease finishes and everyone gets out.
that brings to mind another part of Labour policies that I think I've heard in the media, where they're suggesting to the property market that tenants should have longer leases. So that's also going to affect.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one. I heard a whisper that they're considering getting rid of the 50% discount on negative gearing. The MP I spoke to thought property outstripped the share market. Phil, I've done an analysis for our clients before, and I'll give you an example, and it's an honest example. The clients bought a property. I can't say where because I don't want to say which areas of our nation do not do well. This one was in an area that should have done extremely well. And in fact, the property went from $283,000 to, in 9 years, $510,000. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Reasonable.
Yep. And so they had a downturn in their business. They had to sell it because they couldn't afford to keep putting in all that cash all the time. So they sold it, but in the 6 months after they put it on the market, the unit that was next to their unit had sold for $510. Theirs dropped down to $470 because they couldn't get a buyer. The property market dropped, so they had to just accept $470. I then looked at how much they'd lost. They gave me permission to tell this story to people, and so I looked at how much they'd lost every single year, cash-wise, out of their pocket, how much they'd recovered every single year from all the tax savings, and that was $41,000, the tax savings over a 10-year period, right? And I looked at, they had to unfortunately pay capital gains tax, and that was around about $36,000. Then I compared all their outgoings as if they just invested it in a 3% return.
Okay.
Came to, amazingly, only $70,000 that they would have had after 10 years if they'd invested in 3%, right? That's after tax. Whereas the investing in property for all that period of time and all the growth that they'd had and all the $41,000 of tax recouped, they had only $51,000 in their pocket after 10 years.
With the stress that they've had as well.
Yes, yes. And imagine the future investors in property if they can't get negative gearing. If they can't get that $41,000 back in tax savings, this couple would have only had $10,000 all that time compared to $70,000 in a 3% return. And we can do much better than 3%. I'm earning. We won't worry about the car
Okay,
background.
I thought he was going right past us.
Yeah, I'm actually earning 7.5% interest on my money. You know how you can find that in my special book, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other people can find me in my book, my free ebook, maybe find out how to earn that sort of money.
So you can give them the address that they can go to on the web for that book.
Oh yeah, it's called godgivenwisdom.com.au.
Excellent. So people can go look at that
Yep.
and see where they can help themselves.
Yes, exactly. I'm not allowed to tell people now anymore because there's restrictions on accountants. We're basically gagged on a lot of things. But I can still talk about real estate and interest-bearing accounts, but that where I invest my money has changed its structure and now it's a trust.
Okay.
So I'm not sure I can tell people anymore. But I wrote it a while ago and it's out there. So
It's on the
people can
internet.
find-
What's on the internet
Yeah.
stays on the internet.
Exactly. So they can help themselves to earn good money. And I compared it if they'd earned the even 6.5, and at the time I was earning 8.5 on my money. 6.5, it was a 71,000. No, 71 was 3%, and it was 86 for the. Well, what hurts me the most is with these Labor Party changes is I think it's going to really drop the property market because there won't be the investors in all those properties. There won't be the rental properties available anymore. People are going to get out and that'll send prices sky high. Or alternatively, people who do go in will have to put their rental prices up so much to cover all those losses.
So
So it's going to hurt.
what you're actually saying is that it's going to hurt the investors
Yes.
and it's going to hurt the rental market, the
Yes.
tenants.
Yes, that's my belief anyway.
So before any government decides to make changes, what you're suggesting, without putting words into your mouth, Sue, you're suggesting that they hands off property. If it isn't broken, don't try and fix it. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, actually, to be honest, I think accountants just need to tell the truth. If accountants like me imagine, they think that they're trying to stop foreign investors from investing, and they're trying to make it easier for people who are first-home buyers to get into the market by lowering prices. Well, look, if we just told the truth about what we've seen, and I've got a mountain of stories to tell, some incredible stories, and I'm legally allowed to tell.
Have the accountants spoken as a body, lobbied the government as a body about this?
Well, I don't think they have because Labor's not in, but we need to do something about it so they don't get in. And that's why I haven't been able to sleep until I do this video. I need to get this out there. Phil,
Is it a cross-party scenario where you should be lobbying perhaps all parties to bring them into line so that the battlers out there actually are not going to be losing money?
No, it's only the Labor Party that's proposing this tax change as far as I've seen. Okay. Others have suggested it in the past and it's been stopped, I think, by accountants.
Right.
The time that they were going to introduce GST, we spoke out about trusts, how they were going to ruin those, and it was stopped. So, power of people. Can I tell you, Phil, this is important too. I woke up yesterday morning and Light FM was talking on my radio.
So who are Light FM?
They're a Christian radio station that just has good news and good family values and
Positive input in the community, yes?
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Sue. carry on then from there.
Okay, Light FM had a guy on, he was saying that he was giving statistics about incredible times when one vote has made all the difference. Okay? And one of them that really stuck in my mind that he listed was that it was one vote that determined whether the United States taught in their schools English language or German language. And one vote made that difference between the United States being an English-speaking language or an English-speaking country and a German-speaking country. And I just thought, imagine what might have happened in World War II or World War I if the United States had been a German-speaking nation. That was mind-blowing. And it made me think everyone needs to remember the importance of how important one vote can be, and getting this message out to just one more person. How important. They might get it to the right person. It makes an incredible difference in our nation.
Thanks, Liv.
Thank you.